Welcome back. In our last episode, we explored functions, how to create reusable code that can accept inputs and return values. Today, we are moving on to another essential topic, arrays. Arrays are incredibly useful ways to work with lists of data in TypeScript. But first, I want to add a note because in the last episode, we didn't touch arrow functions. Arrow functions are functions that were introduced in ES6. An example of arrow functions, and we'll use them a lot because nobody actually uses the function keyword. A lot of people actually use this way to write functions. This is the syntax for it. So it's const example, it's the name of the function, equals the signature, and then you have the arrow and then whatever you want to do. So in this example, we're console logging. This is an example. You can also add parameters in there. You put it in here between the braces. You put param equals string, and then it will console log the param here. If it's short enough to fit on one line, you can even make it one line like this add function, which adds a and b. So we have a, we have b, and then we don't have to put the curly braces there. We can just put it like this. So that is a short side note on the last episode where I forgot to mention arrow functions. So let's continue. So in this episode, we're talking about arrays. So what actually is an array? An array is a collection of items stored in a single variable. Imagine a list where each item has an index starting from 0 that lets you easily access each value. Arrays are perfect for holding a list of strings like numbers, strings, or even objects. Let's see how to create one. Alright, in TypeScript we can create an array by placing square brackets after a type or by using the array type syntax. Let's create an array of numbers, like we've done here. This is the square braces, this is the array type, and it actually says what is in there. So here we have an array of numbers. So this is a way to create an array of numbers. Note that we can't put strings in here. Like if we do this, it will complain that we can't insert strings. And this is also a valid way to create an array. And here we cannot put in a number. See, it will complain. All right, so this is where we define both of those. Let's print them out real quick. So tsc, oh wait, I need to change my directory to arrays. All right, save the file, tsc index.ts, and then note index.js. See what it does? It prints the whole array. So that's how you define arrays in TypeScript. Now here you can see some of the other stuff. Both methods work, so use whichever you prefer. This array holds 3 names and it's typed as an array of strings using array string. And here's the square brackets. Now, maybe we want to access one at a specific index. So to access individual elements in an array, we use indices. The first element is at index 0, the second at index 1, and so on until the length. So basically this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you want the first score, which is 85, what we have to do is we have to get score 0, and if you want Bob, so the second one is 0, 1, we always start at 0. That is where we get Bob. So let's compile and run that. Index.ts, index.ts, like that, and then node index.js. And see, here we have the first score, which is 85, and then we have the second name, which is Bob. Note that it always starts at 0. Remember that because it will save you a lot of trouble when you are first starting out. After a while, you get used to it. You know, always we start from 0. But when you're new, it might be a bit of a headache. All right. So now let's see how to add and modify items in an array. We can use the push method to add items to the end of the array. So not in the front, not in the middle. We use push to put them at the end of the array. So here we can insert it like this. So we save it again, compile it again, and we run node index.js. Now see, it added 95. So we started here with a literal, and with this literal we added like 4 numbers, and with the push method we actually added another one, which is 95. Now, isn't that great? So Let's say that we want to change an index, or let's change an item at an index, and we know which index we want. So for scores, we can change the first one at 0. Instead of 85, we can change it to 88. So let's see how that works. We use this syntax for that. We run it and see it's now 88 because it's modified. Now what have we done? We have set scores, which is the variable, and then we have said that from index 0, so we want to change index 0, which is 85, to 88. If we would put 1 here, it would have changed 90 to 88. So that is how you actually change values in an array. You say at this index, so at this place in the array, I want to place this value. All right. So that is basically it for all the simple array stuff. You can push stuff to it and you can change stuff at an index. So now let's go over some operations. Arrays have many built-in methods to help manage elements, and here are a few useful ones. If you want to get a last score of an array, we can use the pop method. The pop method pops it at the end of the array. Let's see how that works. So we're going to comment this real quick, save it, tsc operations.ts, and then node. Oh damn. Cannot find name score. Of course we cannot find name score. Of course. So we have to copy the scores over real quick. Then we can do it again. So yeah, what we've done here is we popped it and then we store it in this variable. So we have the last score. So we popped it, we get the last one, which is 95, or in this case it's 92, sorry, because we didn't add 95. We have 92, and then the array removed it from itself with that method, and we now have 3 elements left, 85, 90, and 78. So that's how the pop method works. We also have shift, so if we copy the names array over, and let's just comment this one out real quick so it is not annoying. So let's say we have the names array, and then we use the shift method. So the shift method removes the first item in an array. So what it does here is we have Alice, Bob, and Charlie. So it will remove Alice, and then we have Bob and Charlie left in the array. So let's see how that works. And then we run it, see? So we stored Alice there in first name. We have it here, and then we have Bob and Charlie left. So that's how that works. We also have unshift. Unshift adds an item to the beginning of an array. So it's the opposite, right? It doesn't remove, but it adds to the beginning of it. So let's see how that works. Basically, we use the function or method unshift with the value, which is a string of the name Eve, and then we add it to the front of the array. So let's run it again. And there we have it. We have now added Eve in front of Bob at index 0. So this is index 0, this is index 1. Now this is index 0, 1, and 2. And that's how unshift works. Now, we can also loop over arrays. This is like something you'll do a lot. Looping over arrays is a very common procedure in programming. And what you'll do is, we have basically 2 ways to do it. We have the for loop, and we have the forEach. Now, the for loop is, we've written it before, but it's let I is 0, so I is the index, so we start at 0, while I is smaller than scores.length, so in this case 0, 1, 2, 3. So while it is less than 3, keep adding it, so y++, after each operation. So console log score at index, then we have the index, then we have this string here, and then we print the actual score. So let's see how it works. See, So we have now looped over all the scores, score 0, score 1, and score 2. Now, remember, here it says that we have actual 4 entries into our array, but we popped it here. So now later on in our program, because we popped it here, there's only 3 entries left in our array. That's why we're only going all the way up until index 2. So remember that with this particular piece of code. Now, if we don't pop, then it will of course print until index 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's how you loop over an array with a for loop. A for loop is a bit long, and there's nicer syntax for that, which is the forEach. I really like the forEach because it's just a lot less typing. So it basically does the same thing, but now we do it for the name array. So let's compile it again because I just ran it. And that's not what we want to do. All right. So here we have Eve at index 0 because we unshifted Eve onto, like we used unshift, put it at index 0, Bob at index 1, Charlie at index 2. So remember, all of this code is run before we run this. And now you see what it does. You can also get the index here, so you can get whatever you want out of the array, and we have the name, so the actual value that is in the array. So that is it. That is basically the ways to loop over an array. So now it's time for some practice. We have 2 exercises today. We have this one and this one. We have create an array named temperatures with 5 temperature readings. Print each temperature using a for loop. And the other one is use the push method to add a new temperature to the temperatures array, then print the updated array. All right, I'll give you some time, then we go over the answers. All right, now you can unpause the video again and check the answers. So let's print over the whole array. I've used a for loop here, but you can also use a for each because it's more convenient. So we have an array with numbers. I've chosen 5 temperature readings, 22, 25, 19, 23, 21, just some random numbers in there, and then we loop over them. We can also do it this way, so we can say temperatures dot for each temperature, and then we can go like that. No, did I do it wrong? I guess I did it wrong. Yeah, of course. It's not like that. It's like that. Why am I messing up so bad today? All right, we can also do this. This is also very valid code. Temperature, and then we're done as well. So you can do either one of these, either use a for loop or use a for each. It does the same thing. Now for the second one, it's actually pretty easy. We use the push method. It pushes 24 onto here, and then we have a whole new array. Now let's see if everything works. So tsc answers.ts, and then we run node answers.js, and there we go. They both work. Here we have temperature 22. I forgot to add like the string there. So we can do temperature equals that, and then here we go. So it should actually be the same. So we have that here, and here we have the updated temperatures with 24. So that's it. So today we learned how to create arrays, access and modify elements in the arrays, use array methods, and loop over arrays. Arrays are a foundational data structure that you'll use constantly in programming. In our next episode, we'll take arrays even further by looking at array methods like map, filter, and reduce. These methods make working with arrays even more powerful, so don't miss it, and see you next time. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see more episodes. Have a great day and happy programming.